Okay, today what we're going to do is we're going to run through one of our latest kayaks. This kayak here is what we call the Fisha Duo. Okay, the Fisha Duo has basically replaced what we used to have, the Pro Fisha Duo, and we used to have the Evolution Duo. So instead of having two doubles in our range, we decided to make one, taking all the best features from all our current range of kayaks, and of course obviously incorporating what the strengths of one of the duos, or should I say both the duos, and putting it into one. So ultimately what we did was we're using the technology now of the manufacturing, like the materials that we use in the Pro Fisha range, we're using it in this duo. It allows us to keep it a little bit lighter. We added we took what we call the original duo and the Pro Fisha duo. We combined, not necessarily combined the two, but in the thinking we combined the two, and we launched the Fisha Duo. Purely to give us an option of having one kayak in the duo range. So the Fisha Duo itself is actually longer than the old duo, but shorter than the Pro Fisha Duo. It's got the width of the old duo, so it's wider than the Pro Fisha Duo. So that's where you say, like, the thinking process come in. We gave it a little bit longer, give it a little bit more length. Also, what it does allows us to increase the front hatch, so it allows you to keep, in the front hatch, like a rod up to sort of 6'8" will fit in the front, well, through the front entrance. Although the hatch runs from the live well all the way to the front, you can get a 7-foot rod in from the back. It just gave us more room in the front to get some rods in the front. Okay, so running through the Pro Fisha Duo, we'll start at just a little walkthrough like we go. So what we've done is obviously standard 2-bung system. As you know, back bung drains the fish hatch, front bung drains the boat. Okay, the new molded handle system, that's now standard on the Fisha Duo. Okay, the paddle elastic and tubing with a clear vinyl cover, covering for protection, stopping from scratches and stuff like that. Okay, then we go back to the front cockpit. As you know, in our duos, the steering is in the back. So in the front cockpit, it's got foot braces to rest your feet on, as standard, and then obviously your front end hatch system. So now on the duo, we have a standard lid that's standard across our range. So we've done away with the different lids we had on the various duos. Your standard Pro Fisha lid, Fisha lid, everything is front and back on this Fisha Duo. So when you open it, obviously you have the access, just like any of our kayaks, straight into your fish hatch, loops on side on the footwells, and as I said, from here this one runs into the front bunk, and you can get a rod up to sort of 6'8" in here. So that's your front hatch. Normal Pro Fisha clips to secure the hatch closed. But I say the bigger difference here between the old duos and this one is obviously the shape of the lid, keeping it standard. If you have a fish finder now, the fish finder lid works in the duo. Okay, then we move to the back. Okay, standard carry handle on the left and right hand side. One upright rod holder for the guy working from the back with the rods. Paddle elastic to store the back paddler's pedal. And then obviously your pedal system for your rudder. Like we said, from the duo you steer at the back. So you got your standard adjustable pedal system like we have across our range, where you can adjust the pedals to suit your height. As mentioned, the fish hatch lid itself is like all the other lids in our kayak, and this hatch runs from here, which is obviously the back of the live well, all the way to the front. So as I mentioned earlier on, from the back you can get your longer rods in, whereas in the front you're limited to the length of the rod you'll fit in. So from the back you can get a rod of over 7 foot comfortably underneath the seat, and it allows you to store what you need. So after you've gone through the fish hatch, standard, like we say, footwell rubbers, move to the live well. Standard live well now, which we have on all our kayaks, is now introduced into the duo range. So it's got the inlet and the outlet, works on the bung system. Pretty simple, nothing too technical, but exactly the same as all the other kayaks in our range. Okay, standard inspection, 6-inch inspection hatch with a clear lid so you can see into it. Okay, then you move to the back of the kayak. Standard on this duo is 3 rod holders, 2 trawling rod holders like we've always had with its place to secure, and 1 upright rod holder. So the upright rod holder, you have there, and also you have one in front of the thing. You can't actually put another rod holder in the center and the back here for various reasons, like your dryer hatch is in the way, and of course other things get in the way of like the cable pipes and things like that, so the rod holder has to go there. Your rear dryer hatch runs from behind the seat all the way to here, so it's the same big large rear dry hatch like you see across our range. So as I mentioned before, a lot of the features of this is a lot of the hatches or a lot of the things from our Pro Fisher and our Fisher range brought into this, and we've done away with the old Duo and the old Pro Fisher Duo. And then of course your standard access to your rudder, where your rudder will fit on the bottom with a rudder cover, and at the back another molded carry handle. So that's a brief overview of the new, what we call Fisha Duo. Like I keep saying, a lot of the features from our current range, but what we basically did was introduce the live well, made it a little bit longer, made it a little bit wider. Obviously, the weight of it itself also, reasonable weight for the size of the kayak. So the basic specs of the Duo, 5.6 meters long, 700 wide at the widest point, and production weight of 34 kilos. The materials and the technology, like I've mentioned, we are using in this is obviously the same as our Pro Fisher range and our Fisher range now. So for the length and the sort of all the bits and pieces that you actually have on this kayak are a good weight of 34 kilos, which is very manageable for two people. Yeah, and that's it. We've now touched on our standard Fisher Duo, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.